This is my case study of Truman Elementary by Mary Dudley for AEP 858 Data and Analysis. Now, Category 1, Problem Identification and Analysis. What do I know? I know my students' reading scores have been in decline as my students progress from grade to grade. I know that my students' math scores have also been in decline as well, but not to the degree of reading. I know my PTO members have concerns about reading instruction at Truman Elementary. I know the community feels there's no real evidence of reading instruction at the school. I know I asked my district reading supervisor to observe reading instruction in primary classrooms for a week-long observation just to have a second independent opinion. I know that the district reading supervisor stated that some of the teachers are using the Basel program and the language arts instruction is for at least 1 hour, but the overall opinion is that the reading instruction is very inconsistent throughout grade levels. I know that approximately 15% of my school students qualify for free and reduced lunch, and 5% is primary languages other than English, which is typically Spanish. What do I need to know? I need to know what areas of weaknesses my students have in reading instruction and which are resulting in those low test scores. I need to know if grade level teams are collaborating together to look at the data to identify areas of weaknesses in reading instruction. I need to know if teachers are addressing those reading issues causing the low test scores in the classroom and making any necessary changes in the reading instruction. And I need to know if teachers are working together with parents collaboratively in regards to their children's reading issues or weaknesses. I need to know if teachers have had any parent-teacher conferences to discuss reading instruction. Identify the problem. Truman Elementary reading and math test scores have been in decline for over 3 years. The district reading supervisor has reported that reading instruction and the delivery of that instruction is not effective based off recent research. The language arts instruction is not adequately being taught in 1 hour, and therefore those lessons are lacking in substance and only being presented information in whole group sessions and not meeting with small groups to address the individual needs of students. So a gap is occurring in students' achievement, and an action plan must be developed and implemented as soon as possible. So Category 2, Propose Action Plan with appropriate steps for implementation. So Action Plan Step 1, the first step I would take would be to call for my data team to come together to analyze and discuss the assessment data. After the team and I reviewed and analyzed the data together, we would break it down and present the information so it could be understandable and non-intimidating for teachers. The data team and I would present the findings to each individual grade level. Next, the data team, the grade level, and I would review and analyze that data presented to have open discussions on what areas we feel that we were weak in and where can we start to begin to make an improvement. The district office will also be notified of the results of these meetings. Action Plan Step 2. The second step would be for each grade level and I to meet to have an open, honest discussion about the PTO concerns, the week-long observation, and recommendations made by our district reading supervisor. I would really like to hear their thoughts about the observation and the recommendations made concerning reading instruction in the classrooms. The teachers and I would then create a list or brainstorm a list of ideas regarding those recommendations to help create a more balanced approach to reading instruction. The areas we would target would definitely be phonemic and phonetic awareness, reading strategies and comprehension skills, and that we would start to begin to incorporate a reader and writer workshop model in the classroom so that we could have more opportunities to read and write, and that teachers could have the ability to meet with small groups to address those individual needs, and that we were going to increase the language block to 2 hours. Also, this would be able to keep parents in the loop. The school would have a series of family literacy nights for parents to participate with their child in the areas the school will be working on to improve. Step 3. The third step I would take would be to have teachers implement the writer's workshop model into their classroom for the language art blocks to go up to 2 hours. Teachers would have 1 hour for writer's workshop to present writing lessons and to meet with students for individual writing conferences. Teachers would have 1 hour for reader's workshop to teach reading strategies and comprehension skills, and then meet with students in either small guided reading groups or individual reading conferences. Then I would have teachers administer formal running records approved by our district to create a baseline for the reading levels their students are currently on. Formal running records would be given at the end of each 9-week period. The grade level teams and I would continue to meet weekly to discuss the students' progress in reading and writing and have any other concerns or progress is being made. I would also have a weekly professional development pertaining to the readers in workshop model, how to analyze running records, and to work on reading strategies and comprehension. Action plan step 4. The fourth step I would take was really to develop a love of reading across the school. And that we would create a school-wide reading program with built-in incentives as each step is completed. I would have guest authors and storytellers visit the school throughout the year, implement weekly reading buddies across grade levels, encourage literacy activities such as readers, theater performances, have student book clubs, have scholastic book fairs come to the school, have authors' teas, and have family literacy nights. Also, I would create a literacy council made up of teachers, our literacy coach, and parts of our administration to collaborate on literacy activities for the school and to come up with parent workshop session ideas. Also, I'd like to create a promotional campaign on Facebook and Twitter to highlight new improvements made in reading and writing instruction throughout all grades to keep the community informed and engaged on social media about the changes that are occurring at school. Also, it would be a way to promote family literacy nights and other school events that we might be having. So category 3, resolve the issues based on promoting success of all students. So what is best for my students? Truman Elementary would see increased growth in the following areas. By implementing the new Readers and Writers workshop model, teachers have been able to address phonemic and phonetic skills, provide an hour for students to write independently, and meet with them in small group sessions. Also, students were able to read for 1 hour independently on the current text level or slightly above, and to have guided reading conferences with students. With the workshop model, teachers are able to present lessons whole group, but then able to meet with students to address individual needs and work on strategies or skills. This by increasing that block up to 2 hours. By implementing and analyzing informal and formal running records, teachers know the reading strategies and comprehension skills that students are or are not using, so teachers can address those needs during individual reading conferences. By having continual collaborative grade level meetings to discuss running records, assessments, and date the workshop model progress. And then last, continuing professional development in the area of literacy. Resolution to the problem. According to standardized tests results, scores were decreasing as students entered a new grade for the last 3 years. This can be prevented by 1. Implementing Readers and Writers workshops. This model in both content areas provides students with more opportunities to read and to write independently, and teachers can work with students in small groups and to address needs in conferences. Continuing to review data from running records, writing pieces, assessments, and collaborative grade level meetings, making sure that the strategies put in place are being effective and they're making true improvements in the classroom. Also continuing in professional development of Readers and Writers workshop, how to analyze running records, and what reading and strategy and comprehension skills our students are needing. And then lastly, to resolve the problem is hopefully to apply for a $200,000 to $250,000 grant to help with reading and writing instruction. What I was thinking, feeling, and valuing. I felt immediately that there were no teacher collaboration really throughout the school. I felt teachers had little or no direction on how to improve reading instruction. I felt teachers were not meeting the needs of individual students by simply presenting lessons in whole group, regardless of the levels that students were on or their needs. I believe that the professional development was weak and was not being used effectively to help teachers improve their knowledge or their teaching. There seemed to be also a miscommunication between parents and the school over reading instruction practices. Parents were very unclear about what took place actually in the language arts blocks. I thought that perhaps teachers were not reaching out or even communicating well with parents on how to help their children, how they were in reading, or what areas their children needed to continue to work on at home. Identify unresolved issues. Further professional development topics were needed. What areas do my teachers want to learn more or need to learn more on? The possibility of changing the daily schedule. How do classrooms structure their day? The grant writing process. Where are we in this application? What steps are needed to improve school-to-home communication? Is there a mentor program for veteran teachers to mentor first-year teachers or second-year teachers? Are students who are continuously having difficulties making progress being correctly identified as students who may need further interventions? Or maybe we should begin the testing process for students who may have a learning disability. So I would make continuous improvements by engaging families in the community. One, I planned 4 family literacy nights throughout the school year, and that would be in the fall, winter, spring, and an end of year celebration for families and their children to have opportunities to read and write together and enjoy fun literacy activities in their child's classroom or in the Learning Commons area. 2, I planned 8 author teas at the beginning of each month where families are invited to hear their child read a writing piece that was published in class, and it was selected by their child's teacher that demonstrated creativity and was well crafted. The student from each grade level went to the Learning Commons and they read their piece to all the families present. And then their student writing pieces will be displayed in the We Are Authors exhibit outside the Learning Commons. And then 3, I planned 3 family math nights at school for parents and students to work together on some fun math activities. I enlisted the local sponsorship of a grocery store and some restaurants for these events. How was the data presented to communicate to the community concerning instructional programs? Well, one, I met with the PTO members, both parents and teachers, and in the PTO meeting, I discussed improvements that we as a school were making and implementing throughout the school, and then using the new workshop model, different reading strategies, increasing the language block to 2 hours, and also discussed the family literacy programs that we had. The Literacy Council and I held 2 parent workshops sessions on the new changes and improvements occurring in the school. The different sessions were held throughout the school to highlight the different areas of literacy, 1 session per grade level, so parents could attend the session that they wanted to learn more about. All monthly class and school newsletters discuss what literacy skills we were working on or continuing to work on for that month. The class newsletters were sent out by hard copy and by email, and the school newsletter and monthly letter from me were published on the school website. And then last, I created a promotional reading improvement campaign on Facebook and Twitter to keep our families informed and engaged on what literacy activities and events were occurring in their child's classroom and as a school as a whole. How did I use my knowledge of policies and school regulations to bring about positive change? Well, 1, I provided parents with the annual district and school report cards. 2, I offered parent-teacher conferences or parent sessions by grade level to help explain the test results or the test scores to parents. And 3, with the district approval and guidance for all FREPA privacy laws to publish the test scores for parents in the community to read. How did I establish ongoing dialogue with decision makers outside of the school concerning the efforts of teachers and students and how they influenced the improved instruction? 1, I provided continuous professional development and training of teachers and staff under the guidance and support of our district reading supervisor and our literacy coach. Parents and school districts were made aware of these meetings by either mail or newsletters. 2, I created a data assessment reports for the school district and the State Board of Education on our analysis of continuous data on the reading and writing assessments made by our data team, our teachers, and myself. These reports were provided quarterly to track student growth. I provided continuous communication with the community by speaking at PTO meetings, organizing parent workshops and conferences to review data, new literacy instruction improvements, and student test scores. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your feedback, and this is how I would handle the situation for the area of concern at Truman Elementary. Thank you so much.